my area. I can. Cool. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke, whether you're here in person or more likely watching this online, which is cool. This is our Global Chamber San Francisco meetup for the month of June. And oh my, we have a lot coming up. So I think the reason why we really kind of put this together is there is a lot coming up, and we want to at least get some members involved. And there's a big announcement that we haven't officially made, I don't think yet. So we'll do that here, and then we'll do the announcement more broadly in LinkedIn, et cetera. But I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber, and I had San Francisco chapter on my radar to become the executive director because I thoroughly believed that I was moving to San Francisco area. My daughter and her husband, and then later their child, lived in Menlo Park, so on the peninsula. And so that all seemed to be headed toward us moving there until we were starting to pack up our goods and we found out they were moving to Los Angeles. And so that kind of changed things. Nonetheless, I was very fortunate to meet some amazing people in the Bay Area. And we've got some great members. We had a great chapter. We've had a lot of growth. We've got a lot of potential going forward. And so when fast forward to the last year, and Mr. Vinayak Gupta has been our board chair, and before him, Lainey Denslow, and before Lainey, it was Deep Sen Gupta, who was our first advisory board chair. We also had an executive director in our San Francisco chapter, Henry Innes. So Henry started the chapter, really amazing. He moved to Austin. And so the Bay Area became a little bit of an afterthought, although if you've lived in the Bay Area, you know, it's never really an afterthought. It's just a really unique ecosystem that's just beyond words in terms of, you know, going to coffee shops and hearing what's going on and the money flowing and the technology and the ideas. It's just a very unique, very special ecosystem. And so through that, I met Henry, and he's amazing, and he's brought in some extraordinary people as well. I, through that, met Deep, and he was a great advisory board chair, and we love him and his membership. His expertise right now on compliance is pretty critical, and on tariffs and all of the things that are going on with exporting, both importing and exporting. Deep is right on top of all that, and he's very busy, and I'm sure and hopefully he'll be at our next in-person meeting, June 25th. Lainey Denslow is the world's best expert on Americans for foreigners. So if foreigners want to learn about Americans because they want to come into the US, that's a good idea. There's 14 different ecosystems within the US, generally perceived. And Lainey not only knows all of that, she wrote the book, Working with Americans, and it's in second edition. It's really an extraordinary book, and she's still doing consulting, and she was a great board chair, and we love her membership as well. And then Vinayak, I love Vinayak. He's extraordinary. And Vinayak, thank you for all that you've done. He and I have known each other since before Global Chamber, at a time when he was the operations manager for what became Source, a company that makes remote water solutions, meaning it's basically a swamp cooler with a solar panel on top of it, and you can move it anywhere in the world. The solar panel drives from an energy perspective, so it can be off the grid, and then the swamp cooler, instead of cooling, creates water. So it's been redesigned to be able to make pure water, and so you can get water anywhere in the world. And there's banks of, I think, hundreds of these in different places. There's a section somewhere in Phoenix where there's a bank, I heard of over 1,000 of these, certainly in remote areas. But Vinayak was the operations leader for that through his expertise at Tesla and building a battery factory, and all of his energy expertise, which has ultimately transpired from all of those different experiences to become one of the world's best experts on energy. He's still not only passionate, but he is an expert, and he's working on all sorts of solutions that will power the world going forward. So if you don't mind, I'd like to start with Vinayak and just get a quick update on what's going on in your world, and then introduce our next board chair, who's waiting in the wings. Vinayak, welcome back. You've had a little bit of a health back and forth for quite a while now. It's just great to have you back.
Thank you, Doug. Really appreciate it, and great to meet all the folks, and looking forward to taking Global Chamber San Francisco to the next level. I think sky's the limit. San Francisco chapter, like you said, is amazing, and it moves very fluidly. No question about it. My background, as you know, is deep in energy and in semiconductors. So two industries which I've focused on from that perspective. And there is no better area than the Bay Area, San Francisco chapter. From that point of view, like Doug mentioned, I've had experience in solar, batteries, water, variety of industries, wind, and any areas, both locally and globally, from that point of view. And I think there are some amazing opportunities around the world from that point of view. What's happening in our world right now is tariffs. Oh my God, tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. So, which makes it extremely exciting, is what I would say. Extremely exciting to be in the world of energy. Because, it's quid pro quo. We won't go into the political details, of course, doesn't make any sense. But right now, the market is extremely exciting in that regards, not only just in the US, but if you look globally, in global chambers, of course, uh, go to Latin America, Middle East, Africa, Europe. Market is extremely hot. And then China is the world's producer from that point of view. So many, many opportunities, many challenges. And I call upon Global Chambers team to take advantage of that, use me as your resource in any different shape or form in that regards to, accelerate the world of energy growth from that perspective. Clean energy. If any of you work in utilities, commercial industrial like Amazon's, Walmart's of the world, or even data centers. I mean, just to name a few, talk to me. Building manufacturing facilities over here in the US, but also globally, talk to me. I think what we'll see going forward, I think these are some of the accelerators where global chambers can take us to the next level, and we can hopefully accelerate global chambers growth and make it just continue to be the growth factor for the world from that point of view. I'll stop there. There's a lot I can talk about. We're already at 11-minute mark, but very excited. And like Doug mentioned, some health challenges, which I'm really grappling with, but getting better and better. So appreciate the kind wishes from that perspective. Looking forward to see the next chapter of San Francisco grow. Thank you.
One thing that we talked about with Vinayak is to lead the energy sector within Global Chamber. We do already have a global community for it. There is a GC community. It's called GC Communities. It's a WhatsApp community of somewhere north of 100 groups, and energy is one of the groups. And there's a conversation there. And I encourage Vinayak, now that you're back, to moderate that and facilitate that, and to bring folks in, people like Mel and Paul Charles and other experts in different aspects of energy. That will be great. So have San Francisco be the lead of this through your leadership. The next person I'd like to introduce is Jeff Olson, and he was one of the truly incredible people that I've met over the years, and he's had a career that has really been deeply connected into HR services and the M&A community and the venture capital community and all of those communities that need talented people, all of the things required to build a global workforce. Jeff is second to none in terms of his expertise. And so it's not a surprise that he's been hired by TopSource, or was hired by TopSource worldwide, to be their head of strategic partnerships. And so he's been a board member prior to that, but now that has that role, he's brought on Top Source Worldwide as a member of Global Chamber. He himself now is our advisory board chair. And so effective essentially now, it hasn't been announced outside yet, but it will be hopefully this week. I think we have a picture and we have a bio and we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that's my mistake. It just took a while. I was in the weeds of some things. So
it's,
thanks,
it's,
Doug. Nice to
it's
meet
all,
everybody. I see
thank
a
you.
lot of familiar faces and or name tags. So good to see everybody. For those of you that don't know, I've been in corporate tax, international expansion, and kind of HR from a global perspective for over 10 years now. Professionally been a salesperson since I was 8, and then managed to segue into strategic partnerships with TopSource about a year and a half ago. Um, just to get the housekeeping out of the way, TopSource operationalizes global expansion. So we do a bunch of like pre-deal HR diligence, and then we operationalize the transactions on the backside, do all the post-merger integrations and operationalization of transactions across the world. And then for organic companies, we come in and we partner with them, whether they're small businesses or multinationals, to help kind of provide and build them the requisite infrastructure that they need to, build their global businesses while ensuring there's compliance, that they're managing their people ops correctly. And TopSource does this through a whole bunch of services that revolve around HR, advisory, payroll, finance, and entity solutions. So we intrinsically manage the entire entity and employee life cycle of a company. The reason that's relevant is because that pretty much ties together my background for like the last 10 years. So that's the space that I live in. I'm excited to be able to kind of come in professionally and work alongside Doug even more. Vinayak, same, um, and see how we manage this and move it forward to another level. Um, Looking forward to some of the events that we have coming up on the calendar. I won't steal Doug's thunder, but there's some really interesting things that are coming down the pipe from an event perspective that add a lot of value to the chamber. And there's also likely some strategic partnerships that we can talk about between the chamber and some other organizations that would add value to both sides. So already scheming, but I'm happy to be here. Oh, and I've been working alongside Doug for about 10 years in various places.
Critical timing. Critical timing.
Well, God works in mysterious ways, right? Everything happens for a reason. So when he called me and he said, we needed help, I was like, okay, busy, but you've always been there for me, so I'll be there for you. Let's go. So that's how it is. So people knock, you answer. So I'm excited. I really am.
Appreciate that. I think we've got a lot of potential and what is going to be kind of the kickoff, I think, of all this is on June 25th, having our event in Los Altos. Certainly, there'll be probably 2 highlights that day, I hope. One is some sort of a lunch at Zarine's or some sort of something going on with Vinayak and anybody else that would join. Probably the best Indian restaurant in the region, one of the best. It's certainly the best I've ever been to in the peninsula. And then from 4 to 6, we have the Los Altos Altos Bank launch to the global community. And so we're going to be doing, and started yesterday, an outreach to the global community to get them to understand the value for them of Altos Bank. Altos Bank is developed and a brainchild from several leaders, including Dr. Sanjeev Kagram, who viewed Silicon Valley Bank at some point as being an amazing organization that, lost its way a little bit through a variety of different circumstances. It's a good bank. There's no question about that, but there's elements of the Silicon Valley Bank that were incredible. And Altos Bank seeks to be that plus plus. And so you'll hopefully all be able to join it is in person only. And so over the next couple weeks, we definitely want to get the word out to all the people that we know that are involved in technology and global business to get them introduced to Altos Bank. And that'll be a great opportunity for us to meet together. And, I love Sanjeev Kagram. He is an off the charts global icon, a man born in Uganda, worked for Nelson Mandela, knew very well Archbishop Desmond Tutu. He himself is deeply connected at the United Nations and at Davos. That whole event and all of the leaders that go to it, he's regularly attends. He's calls the mayors, like the mayor in LA, by first name. He's just a very well and deeply connected leader, and so I'm looking forward to as many global chamber members in the region that can to meet him. One of those is Shupto. Shupto of Matrix Minds. He's based out of Sacramento. He's got an element to Queens, and he works across the country. He's recently been lifted to the Global Chamber San Francisco Advisory Board. And so we really appreciate you, Shupto. Do you have a moment to introduce yourself and say hi?
Thank you, Doug. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm actually in LA and my network is not that great, so I cannot come into the camera. I think you wouldn't help.
I remember you said you were going to be in LA. And
yes,
yes.
So
oh my!
I have a private equity event over here that I'm sponsoring, so that's why it's a little bit mountain area, so I don't have that great of a network.
Well, thank you.
I think you know that place.
To say hi.
Yes, hi, everybody. It was great meeting everybody. Few familiar faces, new faces, like Mr. Vinayak. The first time I'm hearing you, Vinayak, and I heard a lot from Doug about you. Jeff is a good friend. I know him ACG for a while. So nice to meet everybody. Matrix Minds is a full service accounting and advisory firm. We service all the private equity investment bank through family office advisory, healthcare advisory. It's a full service accounting firm. We have a managed accounting service that's really helpful to all the portfolio companies, including parent companies, during their regular time, or like if they are trying to sell it or going to the growth factor piece of it. So that's what I created, the Matrix Minds Financial Consultants. We do have access to all the top tier accounting firms where we can work with them and they can work with us. So I wouldn't take any more time. I'll give it back to Doug. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Doug.
What private equity event are you at?
So it's called Original Mixer. It's basically organized by CVs, so I'm kind of joining with them to serve their clients as well. So it's in Sunset Boulevard. Have you been to that hotel, Lux Sunset Boulevard?
I haven't, but I heard of it. It's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
So it's in there. It's quite a few private equity and venture capitalist family office firms, family office also here. Mostly organized by Brian Romanovitz. I don't know if you know him.
I don't know.
So this is basically the growth, and there's a couple of series going on. So that's the most highlight of it.
Okay.
Some fundraising going on.
Jeff, you and I need to connect, both the event, because we're doing as usual, we're doing the exact same things in different places. So let's connect. I missed you at M&A West. I saw you in the pictures and I was like,
sorry, I actually couldn't. I had to run to New York. I had a client situation.
oh, so it wasn't my fault. You weren't there the whole time and we just were like ships passing in the night. Okay, I feel better.
No, and US Capital did the wine thing, and Charles wanted me there, and I'm like, Charles, I couldn't be there. Sorry
Fair.
about that.
Jeff, do you know this Brian Rabinovitz?
I don't, but I'll talk to Shupto about that later. But one of the strategic partnership channels that we're drilling into is, we've been servicing private equity and their portfolio companies for a long time. And so that's actually a cognizant push for us right now, is to kind of
So
operationalize that more effectively. And there's Shepto knows, we just have to talk. Once again, we're doing the same thing on opposite ends of the pond. So what he's doing domestically, we're doing internationally. This is why we're partners and friends. Yeah, we'll talk later.
But Doug, I probably want to introduce you with Brian. He would be a great source for global chambers and commerce because in LA area he's great.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about offline, but I didn't want to volunteer that in public. But that's precisely where I was
Yeah.
headed.
Yeah.
So
Cool. There's another guy, Anand Singh. Have we already introduced either of you to him, or do you already know Anand?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I know a person, Anant Patel. He's in GHG accounting firm. So I don't know if we are talking about the same person.
Anand runs something called Davos Worldwide, which is a virtual Davos
Okay.
that he moves around, but he works out of Beverly Hills and the Bay Area primarily.
Uh-huh.
He has a series of private equity events. I finally got to go to one about a month ago. He does them at the SLS Hotel in Beverly.
Gotcha.
And it was amazing. I got to meet like the first company that pitched was a company that's entertainment space, and the main speaker was a guy who's been writing for The Simpsons for 24 years. The cartoon The Simpsons, and so we had a lot of good conversations, particularly because the guy was from New Jersey, and he's a Mets fan, and I'm a Yankees fan, so we had a lot to converse about, and also just about The Simpsons. He's been writing for The Simpsons for 24 years, and if you've ever watched The Simpsons, it's pretty a unique adventure, and this was a very interesting, unique guy. So Anand hangs out with some really interesting people, money people on both sides, those wanting it and those who have it. And so, the three of us definitely will bring that all together.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, thank you for taking a couple minutes while you're going through that. Casey Branch is another advisory board leader that is here for the San Francisco chapter. He's also been involved with a couple different events in LA for Global Chamber when we did the LA Port Tour. Casey is a very unique fellow in many ways. One is that he's the top resource for both cannabis and wine, and it's been expanded beyond wine just to alcoholic beverages. He knows that industry inside and out, and is deeply connected. An example of that was an event we did here in the San Francisco Global Chamber San Francisco with J. Lohr Winery, and also a couple other wine experts that KC orchestrated and moderated. So his expertise lies there. He's also involved with the sports industry, and through that he ran a podcast that Global Chamber did at the Paris Olympics last summer. Oh my goodness! So it's been that long. Amazing. And so that was a lot of fun. And finally, I will say, just on a personal level, he also has a wine cooler in his car. So that's a really great attribute for somebody to be part of Global Chamber. He's not only an expert in business and well connected globally, but when he shows up at an event, he shows up with some good stuff, not just his head. So Casey, can you say hi?
Yes.
How are you? What can we do for you, and what would you like to share?
I'm busy with litigation this week. I hate litigation. I gave it up for Lent years ago, but two important clients came to me and said, "Can you do this for us?" So I'm well versed in it, including one labor case, Jeff.
Labor where? U.S. or global, or what's
California? Good old San Diego, California.
Oh, well, yeah.
A brewery.
Oh no.
Uh-huh.
HR case with labor and beer. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Exactly. So.
If I can help, let me know.
All right, thanks. So we're plodding through the paperwork. Of course, the company's closed, so that makes it all the more fun.
Joy.
Very special.
So when you're not litigating, what's your focus? So you
My
said you
focus
gave
is
that up for Lent.
dealing with regulators on the alcohol and cannabis business. So trying to get permits, trying to get change of control, trying to import alcohol, export alcohol. Of course, Mr. Trump has made it very difficult to do any kind of worldwide trade in alcohol these days. So all of my clients who've been wanting to come into this country have stopped, and all the ones who are doing it are doing so trepidatiously and slowly. So it's kind of an unknown time. So nobody's jumping into new ventures or nobody's jumping into anything exciting. And the worldwide consumption of alcohol is down thanks to the WHO, who's basically saying it causes cancer and causes all these problems. And sure it does, but so does sugar. So, but sugar's not on the prohibited substance list. And it doesn't. Their studies don't talk about the mental health aspect of alcohol and sitting down and relaxing with a glass of wine. You don't really sit down and relax with a soda or worse, a joint or anything else. A gummy is not really just sit and eat a little piece at a time. It's you eat the whole gummy, and all of a sudden you're wasting 3 gummies into it. So it's a different experience. But the alcohol world is changing fast. A lot of the market is down. A lot of my clients have fired a number of sales employees, whether they're distributors or whether they're manufacturers. So it's a real downtime for the alcohol industry. So that's all the fun stuff we're dealing with these days.
Very good. Thank you.
Question on that. If they're down with their imports into the US, are they then repurposing that inventory and shipping it into Mexico, Canada, Brazil? Are they going elsewhere with it? Presumably these companies are global because they're importing alcohol into the US, right?
But the market in those other countries for imported European alcohol, especially wine, is just not there. Sure.
Fair. All right. Yeah.
I'm sure those markets are infiltrated enough with those kinds of brands, but it's the U.S. and the U.S. buyers, the U.S. consumers who are willing to pay $100 or $500.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Or even 30. When we go to Europe, it's a nice bottle of wine is €10, and a certainly drinkable bottle is €5. And if you're spending €25, you're crazy.
Right.
Whereas in this country, you can't really on any locally sourced product under 35 is always going to be suspect.
Fair. All right. Now I was just looking for angles and ways to assist, but
it's this WHO thing that's really come through that's very anti-alcohol, and that's the thing that's really driving the whole international prohibition thing. And it's not really a prohibition from being prohibited by government, but it's these non-governmental organizations that are influencing the marketplace.
Yeah. My grandmother, being an NGO of her own, since she was a preacher's wife, had looked at things from the lens of temperance, all things within reason, right? So I think that's
Very nation.
Just a couple quick things, and then I'd like to circle back with Jeff, and maybe we haven't really had a detailed conversation about next steps with the chapter and what we want to do, other than the event that's coming up, which now is kind of crunch time. So over the next couple of weeks, focusing there. But over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure Jeff's probably already got his head all the way around it. But ideally, over the next couple of weeks, there'll be more ideas and thoughts that move forward. And so we'll encourage our members and the advisory board to certainly be there on the 25th in Los Altos. And then the next steps you will be deciding for July onward. Before we get too deep into that, though, I'd like to introduce Mohammed Y.H. Omar, who is part of our kind of peripherally part of our team out of Turkey. He is in Turkey. He's originally from Kirkuk, Iraq, and he knows that area really well and knows that market really well. We're talking to him about coming on in some capacity with Global Chamber, and right now he attends the Turnkey Solutions events that happen every Wednesday. sometimes once a month anyway, there's a parallel global chamber event on Turkey. At least there has been the last 3 weeks. There was a back-to-back where Turnkey, I don't know, Mohammed, if you were part of that, probably were, and then you shifted over to the Global Chamber Turkey event talking about opportunities in the region. If any of you are not familiar with the region as deeply as Mohammed is, or as I have started to become, it's amazing. And Rashid, who's our executive director for Turkey, based in Istanbul as well, has been explaining a lot of these opportunities step by step. Next month, I don't think it's set yet, but next month the conversation will be more on the chemicals, pharmaceutical side of things. But he's already been through automotive and aerospace and ag and a variety of other opportunities. Mohammed, would you please introduce yourself and just explain a little bit about your involvements, and are you involved at all in Silicon Valley? Are you involved on this side of things? Let us know.
My pleasure.
You have a bridge behind you that looks very familiar to me.
Yes, I am fitting the concept for today, the Golden Gate Bridge. Yes, thank you, Doug. I don't know. I have been evolving with Turnkey for a few months now. I am a member, and I am representing the Iraq market with them to give feedback and keep them updated. I don't know where to start, but I would like to just to how you say to have your appetite going to the Iraqi market. We have for the last years we have seen all the problems, but now there is an Egyptian billionaire has gone contract in Iraq about 120,000 households and over 62 million square meters. It's practically a new town, and it's a billions of dollars of investment and comes from an Egyptian billionaire. So this is an example of what is Iraq is coming, at least for the last couple of years with our new prime minister. How you say, normalizing the economy, and Iraq is different from other Gulf countries with its population. We have over 45 million people living in Iraq. The Kurdish area in the north of Iraq, it's only 12%, but now Baghdad is coming, and it's going to be one of the important. I have been in Baghdad last week, and the whole city is like construction site. So we had the theme today about the mega contractors of Turkey. So I am just mentioning, I tried to add all of you on LinkedIn. I'm sharing all the updates, and also a brief history of me. I have been living in Turkey since 2007. I have over 17 years of experience of exporting products from Turkey to Iraq. It differs according to the required that it comes, but now we are seeing more valued products are required from Iraq, from luxury and international brands. So to be happy with be among you, and I don't know, I try to not miss any meeting if it's my expertise or not. When I see Global Chamber mail or event, I try to register and listen to you and enjoy. It will be always some new things I learned. So that's it. If you have any other thing I would like to ask, I'm more than happy to answer.
Mohammed, this is fantastic. This is Vinayak. I'd love to connect. There are a few things I think we can talk about, and especially to energy
My
related.
pleasure.
I think you may have sent me a LinkedIn invite. If not, please do.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you for accepting it.
That'd be awesome. We'll connect offline.
Okay,
Just
my pleasure.
a parallel coincidence, Vinayak, is that Salih Alimam, who's here in the call, had re-energized a relationship we had with a lady in Turkey, and I happened to meet with her again today, and she's an expert on energy. And
Oh, that's fantastic.
she's in Istanbul, and so I wrote down as the main action item is to get her connected to you. And so she's an amazing expert, and I think you're going to enjoy her. So I'll get you guys connected. She is in Istanbul and originally from there, and I think you're going to enjoy her.
One last thing about the energy, especially renewable energy. Iraq is having a serious attack on this sector because they failed to provide full-time electricity for the last 10 years. So now the renewable energy, Total of France and Masdar, are getting the biggest pies in Iraq. Maybe 4 solar plants. Each of them is how you say, one gigawatt, the largest.
Correct. Yeah, 1 gigawatt.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Each of them has gone the contract and they signed it. So it's a very emerging also market in Iraq.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing no additional comments, I'd like to turn it back over to Jeff and say, hey, this is the beginning of a next phase. Although maybe before we do that, Daniel, coming in from Poland, could you introduce yourself as well and let us know more about how we might be able to work together? We do have, I mentioned maybe before the recording started, on June 20, I think it's June 26th, Jem, I think you're in the call. Jem put up a Poland event that today, and so we're putting together, it's both ways. It's investment in Poland and it's investment in the US and exporting both ways as well. And it's Warsaw, Chicago focus. Although it's really Poland, US, but it's those two chapters that are driving it. Could you, I think I found your profile, Daniel, and LinkedIn. Could you just briefly explain more about what you're doing?
Sure, of course. Well, first of all, it's great to participate in a meetup of such many experienced minds. I hope that one day we'll be able to work together. About me, so I'm the founder of Master Key Software. I'm currently in Łódź, in central Poland, but I'm considering moving to Las Vegas, and because of that, I think it's worth to connect with nearby communities, so hence I'm here. Since April, I've been a member of Vegas Chamber of Commerce. About myself, I've been involved with computers pretty much my whole life. I've created my first website at the age of 11, just by using Notepad. And about Master Key, we specialize in web and mobile apps. Although recently we've started to work with AI agents as well. We help startups to create or improve their MVPs, businesses to automate their internal processes, or simply to create custom tools. Currently, we're in the process of shifting our specialization to logistics and transport software, but we're open to helping all sorts of businesses.
So I don't know what the connection is with Las Vegas and Poland exactly, but many of our members in Las Vegas are Polish, and including Raphael. I don't remember his last name. Are you already
Kartaszyński. It's a bit tricky name.
Thank you for helping me with that. Trickier than Brunke. So he's a member of Global Chamber in his organization, and we did a CES event together, and then done, I think, a couple different events at Global Chamber, and he is part of the the event that's coming up on the 26th. He's pulled in several people from his community, including Global Chamber community. And so we'd love to be able to work with you. Thank you for jumping in today.
Thank you as well. Yeah, exactly. Rafael is the person who actually brought me here. He's like the magnet which basically pulls all the talents willing to participate in US market.
Fantastic. So before I turn the floor over to Jeff to make any final comments, does anybody else inspired to say anything or introduce themselves or anything else that we left out that we should be talking about? We've got a small but mighty group here today, and we're looking forward to some amazing things going forward under Jeff, your leadership.
Yeah, take your shot. Floor's open.
The only thing I'd say is go global, accelerate it. This is how we make the difference.
And to that point, I hear a lot of the conversation today revolving around private equity and related industries. So I'm just thinking like the lunch that you're trying to do at your favorite Indian place day of, maybe we can invite some key stakeholders to that and align them, or there might be a way for us to use that lunch both as an excuse to eat as well as a way to align some people prior to the Altos Bank thing, you know. So I think there's an opportunity there. This comes to mind. I look forward to just kind of growing the practice. I was talking to Doug about this yesterday, and in my mind, you know, the advisory board, we get a lot of service providers and a lot of people, attorneys, bankers, CPAs, people like myself that are here to solve problems. I think we need to drive membership on two sides of that, both from the service delivery platform people, but also just from kind of grassroots entrepreneurs, founders, business owners, people that are in need of Global Chamber. So taking a look at that lens on how we drive membership on both sides of the fence. That's kind of where my brain is headed right now. And then kind of drilling down into what that looks like, right? So how do we operationalize that in a go-to-market? You know, how are we going to market to the community? How are we going to market to the advisory people? How are we connecting those dots to make a difference? So that's kind of where my head is. I'm not sure if that's appropriate, Doug, but that's where I'm at.
No, that's great. You know, at the end of the day, there's a million networking groups and they're almost all local. And so a local networking group that's involved with global can talk about global and can talk about each individual's international networks, but it doesn't connect them there. And so, you know, at the end of the day, still the very unique thing that Global Chamber does is bring the world to a location. And for those people who want to be connected and even connected across cities, you know, from the Bay Area to Las Vegas to New York to Miami, you know, those connections can be made easier here than still anywhere else. We're operationalizing that to make it even simpler, but those uniquenesses are things that we should leverage, and we haven't fully leveraged that yet, but we plan to. It's sort of like I'm from New York, and New Yorkers, you know, that famous picture of New York, right? Or the world. The picture of the world is it's kind of like the Hudson River and then maybe one little kind of thing over in New Jersey and then not much else, right? It's like everything revolves around New York to a New Yorker. And I can attest that's when you live there, that's kind of how it is. In the Bay Area, when you're in technology and in venture capital and you've got everything moving around you, why go anywhere else? You know, yeah, Austin's a little bit and Boston's got the medical stuff and yeah, there's other stuff around the world. But our goal continues to be making that rest of the world easier to access, not just for that market, but for other markets. So Jeff, thank you for taking on this role. Look forward to working with you and everybody in the chapter. And then of course, seeing you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
I think that your New York chapter is doing really that thing what you just explained. They are into many different activities now. In Long Island, even I think they're doing a workshop this week, if I'm not making mistake, for 3 days at Clinton Cooperman's office in Long Island.
Yeah, actually, it's a really good point. That one thing that we had started, and it kind of got a little bit derailed because Laney was the one that was driving it, actually.
Right.
Advisory board chairs getting together. So Laney and Connie Kadansky in Phoenix, and the women were really driving connectivity. Lena Liu in London, and it was really happening. Charles Bernard in New York is the advisory board. And he's brought all sorts of really unique ideas to the chapter there. I've known Charles for a long time. He's a longtime member, and he's a superstar. And so we Global Chamber need to do a better job now that we have San Francisco now, and LA, a very strong person, and Tokyo, and Sydney, and Singapore. Oh my God, the guy in Singapore is off the charts. Bring these advisory board chairs together and share best practices, not just to help them be more successful in their own businesses, but drive growth and value for everybody. So Jeff, definitely we'll get you connected to Charles if you're not.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. And Crypto, make sure you connect with me in the next couple days. I want to align with you on a bunch of things, and Vinayak too. Let's align so that we can kind of map out moving forward.
Will do.
Yep, I will be back next week, and I'll be in San Fran in next week, so we'll see.
Oh, really? Okay.
Doug, are you back from your Phoenix visit?
Well, I didn't go to Phoenix. I went to Napa.
No, I'm asking Doug because I know.
Oh, okay.
No. Doug, are you back from Arizona?
Yeah, I'm in LA. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so then I should catch up with you. I'll be free by tomorrow, and then I should be fine.
How long are you going to be in town?
About till
Oh, okay. Let's see what we can do.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Are you free tomorrow, Doug?
Let's do that offline.
Okay, I'll get you in the equity equity event I'm in.
Yeah, the answer is right now pretty intense. So
okay, all right.
We'll work something out. Okay.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Jeff, thank you for your leadership. Really appreciate it. Tomorrow we do have 2 leadership programs that I encourage everybody to attend. One is being a leader in these epic times, and Rutherford Pascal is running that session, and it's a lot of the John Maxwell. He's an expert on John Maxwell, and I love John Maxwell. I just think he's fantastic in every way. If you haven't read some of his work, I can't say enough positive about it. And Rutherford is all over it. And so he'll be talking about how to manage through this chaos to be a great leader of impact. And then the second one is Blaine Barlett, who, oh my God, the guy he's like a superstar leader. He's up there with Tony Robbins and others and John Maxwell in terms of having the name recognition and the accomplishments. And he's giving a free session at Global Chamber, and I encourage you to check that out as well. So lots on the plate. Jem is here in the call, and she's keeping me honest and also on track and making sure if something goes wrong, then we can fix it. Jem is based in Singapore and the Philippines, and she's amazing. Jem, is there anything that I left out? Are you still there?
Hi, Doug. Hi, everyone. I left all the links of our upcoming events this week, so feel free to check it out and join us. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Jim, is it like 4 o'clock in the morning over there?
Yes.
You're amazing. Okay, just making sure I was doing my math right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
It's very late in Poland too. So
I know it's 11 o'clock in Poland. I'm coincidentally chatting with somebody on WhatsApp in Poland right now. So
well, 10 p.m. to be specific. Not yet.
Oh, well, she's just exhausted and wrong then. It's okay.
Not too. Take care, guys.
Thank you.